suppose you could say that villain was all washed up. As always, and very quickly, a big thank you to everyone who liked, commented and subscribed from last week's video. I know that I say this a lot, but it really is true. I really do appreciate all the love and support I've been getting over the past few weeks from you wonderful, wonderful people. It really has been a difficult time for me recently, and to see the support is really just... I can't put into words in such a short time frame as just how much this means to me. It really is fantastic. So if you would be so kind to keep that up, I would really appreciate it. You gotta support the local small content creators these days, especially as YouTube is increasing the scary place for them. Of course, it doesn't have to be me, it could be any other YouTuber you like. Give the next YouTube video that you watch a thumbs up, and the creator of it will really appreciate it. And be sure to leave a comment down here. We had a nice little bit of a discussion in last week's video about Shinso as being the true protagonist of that episode, and about the whole backstory bit, the great character moment with Monoma, and it was really great to end up having that great conversation, and I would love to do that again this week. Thank you, and on with the video. So this week's episode of My Hero Academia was a lot more substantial than we've had in quite some time. That's not to say that what we've had up until this point has been insubstantial or subpar or outright bad. It frankly hasn't. If you've been watching my reviews up until this point, you will know that I have loved almost every single episode of this story arc and this season to this point. It's all been great, good, fantastic, gets the grade, gets the pass, gets the thumbs up from me. Now I understand for certain fans it has been a little bit too... Alright, can we move on, please? Can we get onto something else now? You know, I'm getting a little bit sick of this. This is just a glorified tournament arc, and we're not really getting anything big and earth-shattering here, which is understandable. This past story arc, of course, I have enjoyed it, certainly from just the raw, woo, superhero punchy time stuff. I understand for some people they are just wanting that little bit more of a emotive and thematic deep dive into stuff, which we haven't really had recently. That's not to say that, again, that it's been devoid of any of that. It's just not been quite as there as we've had in previous seasons. And as I said in my review for last week, it never really had the same kind of emotional crescendo moment as the previous story arcs, particularly of last season, had. Now, whether that's a problem for you comes up to personal taste, and I do feel as though, whilst this season didn't have some kind of kind of moment, I do feel as though it was entertaining in of itself to really, you know, get the grade from me. Of course, the big moment bit was certainly when Midoriya unlocked that new power, and this week's episode was spent mostly trying to understand it and try and unlock it again. I have a feeling that this is going to be rather inconvenient power, something we're probably not going to see really that much for the rest of the season, at least not until something big and desperate ends up happening and he has to end up using it reluctantly, possibly losing control of it again, or possibly gaining control of it, but it messing him up in such a way that he has to take a little bit of a break out from superheroing, or something along those lines. Maybe it screws his arms up again and then he has to go back to just kicking things really hard. We'll soon find out. It was a great little moment to see him and Bakugo just spending time training together, and Bakugo trying to, on the one hand, be supportive, but at the same time being the same kind of dickish guy that he's been pretty much throughout his life, and the whole kind of mental gymnastics of him trying to make sure that the best possible future superhero in this world has a chance to become the best new superhero in this world and doesn't just become a new All for One, which is the big concern that I have. I don't really think there's any worry of that, because that's not how One for All really works. It doesn't steal powers, it's something where the powers that it gains are donated to it willingly, so I don't really know where the worry is there, but you know, whatever you can do to make sure Midoriya doesn't go evil, I mean, you know, I'm sure that's always going to be a benefit to the people of this world. The other big story point, of course, was the stuff with Eri and us trying to understand more about her quirk and trying to find a way in actually being able to control it and use it a lot more. It was great to see her again, if it was all ultimately for a very short period of time, and it was great to see her and Mirio, I almost forgot his name there, just there being this kind of pseudo brother and sister a little bit. It was just a really adorable little moment with her wanting to write the letter to the people that saved her, and it was really cute little moment, and having Monoma explaining how his power worked. It was, you know, it was a great little moment. I do feel as though there could have been a little bit something more there. As to what that would have been, I can't really say, but it just felt as though it was lacking, for want of a better phrase, a little bit more seasoning. The main thrust of action for this week's episode, of course, was the conclusion of the provisional license and stuff with Shoto and Bakugo, which I'm fine that it has wrapped up now. It just kind of felt as though it was just there, hanging in the background, and whilst I would have liked to have seen that final test that they were doing in full, I understand that we have to move on now and we have to get into new stuff coming forward, and I really did enjoy the final fight sequence with them versus this water villain. It was a great little moment. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the greatest fight we've ever seen. It's fairly standard. It borders on the generic in some regards, but given just how great the fight sequences in the show are, you know, it's kind of a very high level kind of generic. I don't know, some people might be upset at me when I use the word generic as regards this show, but you know what, we'll move on. Not mean it negatively, I just mean we've seen a lot of superhero fighty stuff, particularly over the past couple of months or so, let us be honest. We're now going to set up, I think now, to start to transition into the next story arc. Probably not in next week's episode, because that's going to be a Christmas episode. A Christmas episode in June. Yeah, I know that we're almost exactly 6 months away from Christmas at this point, but my god, that's just going to feel so confusing when we get around to actually watching that episode, isn't it, dear listener? I mean, the last time I had to watch a Christmas episode in summer was when I did my review of the Doctor Who special from a few years back. I'm sure I put a link in the tabs or whatever somewhere around here so you can watch it if you really want to. I do think that there was some foreshadowing as to where we're going to be going next. Like, there was that bit on the news programme where it talked about that company, I don't remember who it is, OCP or whomever, saying, oh, we're getting into the superhero business. And I think that that's the company that's going to be the front for this paranormal liberator squad thing, that this super group that's going to be coming forward as being the antagonist for the oncoming story arc. As to whether that's going to be the case or not, I don't know, but if it is, I'm curious to see where it goes thematically, because I've got an idea where it might be going thematically, and some of the commentary around that might get a little bit spicy. Probably not for me, because I don't tend to go into that stuff, but boy oh boy, Twitter's going to be alight with that kind of stuff when we actually get to it, but we'll soon see about that. I think that this episode as a whole was a fine epilogue to what we've had up until this point. Like, it's a fine way to just round out this part of the arc, even though it feels like next week will be the true epilogue to the joint training stuff. Again, I don't think that we're going to have a teaser or a lead into the next story arc. It just doesn't feel like the timing where would be right for it. It's a Christmas episode, and also having, you know, plenty of TV shows over the years that have used their Christmas episode to do something big and dramatic and world-changing. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case for My Hero Academia, but hell, you never know. All I know is that next week I'm going to be mightily confused. Now, speaking of next week, as we now wrap up this review, I just want to say that there probably won't be a video review for next week. There will be a review, and it will be put on YouTube, but it will be an audio-only thing more than likely, because next week I'm getting my jab for you-know-what, and, you know, I don't know how my body's going to react to it, and I'm going to have to get up fairly early doors in order to have it, so probably going to be an audio-only thing. We'll just have to soon see about that, though. With that said, this morning was so stressful for me that I thought I was going to have to do it as an audio thing anyway, so, you know, you never know. You know, and of course, a couple of weeks back I said, oh, I'm probably going to have to do an audio-only thing because next week I'm going to a party, and I still found the time to do this, so, you know, we'll soon see where all that is going. By all means, as once again I say to this, thank you for watching. I know that by all means isn't a good way to get into this, but still, thank you all for watching. It really does mean a lot to me to have all the support and kindness and all the subscriptions and likes and comments I've been getting recently. It's not been an easy time for me as of late. The past couple of days especially have been a little bit too stressful for my liking. So just to see them coming through is always good in my book. I know this might sound like I'm fishing for likes and whatnot, but you know, if you don't want to like them, fine. Like, just having you here is always going to be good for me. Seeing those likes, the views go up is always good for getting this video out there and getting it seen by more people. YouTube is a really messed up place at the moment as far as the changes in the rules and stuff are going. In the next few days is, I think, officially when we get the whole thing of them being able to monetize any video that they feel like it. So I'm fairly certain that some of my poor popular videos are probably going to get it. So if you see an advert on one of my videos that isn't copyright strike, you know, that's where it's going to be. So thanks, YouTube. Thank you so much for taking money from me. But thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Goodbye! Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!